Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, welcome back to another episode of Economic Warfare. Now, in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the reactions, how the world is reacting to the military government in Mali confiscating hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold from the multinational gold mining company Barrick Gold, the second largest gold miner on planet Earth. Now, for those of y'all that have been following my channel, then I'm sure you got a decent understanding about what's been going down. But for those of y'all that don't, as you can see, take a look up on the screen, Mali begins enforcing gold seizure order at the Barrick site. Now, how do we get here today? How do we arrive at the scenario where black men are going down facing off with these multinational corporations, guns in hand, and confiscating hundreds of millions of dollars worth of product? How did this happen? Well, for those of y'all who may be unfamiliar, the military government in Mali, as well as their allies in Burkina Faso and Niger, have been renegotiating with the multinational corporations because, as you already know, the contracts that were signed under previous administrations, those contracts was trash. Those agreements were garbage. So we had to come back to the negotiation table and sit down as men, examine the financial records, and examine the best route to take moving forward. Now, if you take a look up on the screen, you see the brother in the center. That's a gentleman by the name of Aluseni Sanu, the Minister of Finance. You see, he was the one crunching the numbers, doing the calculations, and he realized that some of these companies haven't been keeping up with their end of the agreement. They've been getting fat, enjoying the wealth and prosperity built off our backs, but they haven't even been paying their taxes. Can you believe it? I mean, that's the least you can do, right? You're operating and doing business in a foreign country. The least you can do is check in and pay your taxes, right? Pay the tax, man. Pay the goddamn tax. But no, some of these companies felt that they were too good to pay their taxes. So Assimi Goïta, General Assimi Goïta, His Excellency, General of the Army, the brother on the left-hand side of the screen, over the past year, he's been shaking down these multinational corporations. And for any of those companies or those executives who didn't want to pay their taxes, didn't want to pay what they owe, guess what? Put your hands behind your back. You are under arrest. And over the past couple of months, there's been a series of high-ranking executives that have been arrested in Mali. In fact, there's still executives right now that are still in captivity. They're still in custody, going on weeks and months at this point, and they still have not yet been released because negotiations are still ongoing. Now, the brother on the right-hand side of the screen, that's a brother by the name of Sadio Kamara, the Secretary of Defense, right? You see Assimi Goïta, he been shaking down the multinational corporations, but Sadio Kamara, he been shaking down the terrorists, right? He been vanquishing the terrorists. He been marching on the terrorists. So these three brothers right here, we got to show respect. We got to show honor and praise. We got to show love to these three brothers right here. Shout out to the big homies, man. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company on planet Earth. Currently, the CEO, Mark Bristow, take a look up on the screen. This goofy looking dude who looks like an extraterrestrial, he currently has an arrest warrant out for his arrest, right? For money laundering, among other financial crimes. Now, for whatever reason, when it came to the other companies in the mining sector who were also audited and brought back to the negotiation table to renegotiate the numbers and pay off any debts they might owe, most of the companies didn't have any problem with that. Most of the other companies didn't have an issue with paying off their debts and renegotiating the numbers to something more beneficial for the government in Mali. But when it came to Barrick Gold and the CEO, Mark Bristow, for whatever reason, this guy don't want to play ball. This guy don't want to, get with the program. So unfortunately, we had to put an arrest warrant out for his arrest, right? We had to, we had to do what we had to do, man. Now, of course, Mark Bristow, like the coward that he is, right? Like I said before, he's a South African national. So you understand what type of white man he is, right? A white man from South Africa. So in typical cowardly fashion, right? He didn't want to show up to the country and answer for his arrest warrant. So unfortunately, the good brothers had to go down to the Barrick site, had to go down to the mining site and confiscate the many stockpiles of gold, right? The many metric tons of gold down at the mining site. We had to confiscate it and transfer it to the national bank for safekeeping, right? We had to put it in the treasury to keep it safe. As you can see, take a look up on the screen. Mali is holding the seized gold from Barrick at the state-owned bank. Now, in response, take a look up on the screen. Barrick suspends operations in Mali after $245 million worth of gold has been seized. Now, originally, it was reported that it was 4 metric tons down at the mining site and it was $380 million worth of gold. But now reports have come out that it's close to around 250, $250 million worth of gold that was seized from the mining site. Now let's continue. The seizure and closing of the mine follows months of escalating tensions, with the Malian government late last year arresting 4 senior Barrick executives who remain in custody. in December, Mali issued an arrest warrant for Barrick chief executive Mark Bristow on charges of money laundering. In a January 2nd order seen by Reuters, Judge Boubacar Moussa Diarra ordered the seizure of the gold and its storage at the Development Bank of Mali in the capital of Bamako. But the two sources said the Development Bank could not securely hold that amount of gold, and therefore the gold was placed with BMS. Now, BMS is the other state-owned bank, Banque Malienne de Solidarité, the Malian Solidarity Bank. So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. These foreigners, these outsiders, they don't want to pay the tax, man. They don't want to pay what they owe. So the black man had to hop in a helicopter, fly down to the mining site, confiscate the gold, and transfer it to the central bank. It is what it is, bro. I mean, it is what it is, man. Now, let's take a look at some of these reactions on social media, right? This person said, in other words, you stole their gold. So this guy right here said, we stole our own gold. He said the black man stole his own gold. Now, let's take a look at this guy who said that, right? Let's look at this goofy, right? Looking like a goddamn homeless white man that sleeps behind a dumpster, right? Talking about we stole our own gold back. Listen, man, let's continue. This person said, no, they had a contract to mine Malian gold. They refused to pay their part. So the contract is null and the gold reverts to Mali. Correct. This person said, if Mansa Musa could do it in the 1300s, I see zero reason or argument why a single foreign company is allowed to mine gold in Mali. I agree. But here's the tragic thing when you don't understand your history, when you are not familiar with your history, right? When you don't know your history, everything seems like an upgrade. Everything seems like advancement. But once you really know your history, then you begin to realize that you are not operating at your full potential because your forefathers were doing things 100 times more magnificent than you are doing in the modern day with way more resources and opportunity. So that's why it's important to study those who came before you to understand your true potential. And when you understand your true potential, you begin to aspire for more. You begin to desire more. You begin to want more out of yourself and from those around you. Now let's continue. This person said, go back to Europe. Ha, exactly. This person said, dude is so used to stealing that his brain has normalized stealing from Africa. And when the owner tries to take back what belongs to him, he starts shouting for help. My God, can you believe what that white man said? He said, we stole the gold from them. The delusions of grandeur, boy. Let's continue. This person said, wait, West Africans stole Canadian gold? Man, that don't even sound right. Exactly, man. These guys are on another planet. These guys don't operate in reality with the rest of us. Let's continue. This person said, it would be fair after everything they stole from us. For example, the United States stole Haiti's gold reserve from its bank in the middle of the 1900s and never gave it back. The West has been stealing from our people for way too long. Now, yes, that's a little known fact that back in the 1900s, 1915 to be exact, the U.S. Marines marched into the Central Bank of Haiti, guns in hand, similar to how we did Barrick Gold the other day, right? Marched into the goddamn gold reserve facility, guns in hand, and confiscated all of our gold reserves and transferred it to the Central Bank in New York, to the City Bank in New York. And guess what? Over 100 years later, we still ain't got it back. That happened back in 1915. It's now 2025, and we still ain't got that gold back. So I don't got no sympathy for some South African businessman with an arrest warrant for money laundering. I hope he gets a life in prison. Let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. The United States began its military occupation of Haiti a century ago, sending an armed force on July 28, 1915. The occupation was not Washington's first instance of interference in Haiti, but it successfully consolidated its grip on the country. 6 months earlier, U.S. Marines marched on the treasury in Port-au-Prince and stole the nation's entire gold reserve. Now, to add insult to injury, right, after they marched on the treasury and transferred the gold back to their central bank in the United States, when we had black men like Charlemagne Péguat, who mobilized an army of 40,000 men to gather the resistance against the invaders, right? They killed him, right? They killed the black man. They killed the brother and displayed his dead body in the public, right? Displayed his dead body in the public for all to see, as you can see, right? Now, Charlemagne Péguat, that was this brother right here. As you can see, you know, fresh to death, you know, all white suit in the middle of the Caribbean heat. It's probably 95 degrees. He got an all white suit on. You know how the black man do it, right? They killed this brother because he decided to defend his national territory against the invaders, right? A bunch of white boys from Arkansas, Louisiana, a bunch of scoundrels, a bunch of scumbags, right? Killed the brother for defending his people, for defending his women and children against these subhuman invaders. It is what it is, man. Rest in peace to their ancestor. Let's continue. This person said, you have been stealing for so long that you have forgotten what you stole does not belong to you. So your response is to act like injustice has been done to you when your wrong is corrected. Exactly. That's why I say delusions of grandeur, boy. Delusions of grandeur. They become so accustomed to unethical business that when true honest business is being conducted, they don't know how to react. They feel like a crime is being committed against them because they have to operate in an honest manner. It's crazy. Let's continue. This person said, if you don't pay, then it doesn't belong to you. This is a very basic business ideology. Correct. Let's continue. This person said, at the top, this is the white man from earlier. He said this. Oh, really? Without them, the gold would still be in the ground because you wouldn't know how to get it out. Now, this lady at the bottom responded to him and said, this doesn't even make sense because Mali was full of gold before Europeans even stepped on the planet. Exactly. But like most people, obviously, that gentleman is unfamiliar with history. He's not well versed in history because he doesn't know that some of the wealthiest and most powerful men to ever grace the planet came from that region of the world, came from that region of West Africa specifically. Some of the wealthiest, most powerful men ever that were world famous because of their vast wealth came from that region of the world in present day Mali. Of course, we know Mansa Musa as the most famous, but it was all the Malian kings. It was all the kings from that region that were known for their vast wealth and power. So much so that they were talking about these men all the way in the Middle East and all the way in Europe, right? When they would make their vast trips to Mecca, carrying literally hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold, probably even billions of dollars worth of gold on their trips to Mecca. So as you can see, all the way back in the 1200s, 1300s, the black man already mastered gold mining. The black man already mastered metallurgy. Back during that time, we controlled the vast supply of the world's gold. We controlled the gold trade. The black man had the monopoly on the gold trade back during that time. So how do we have a monopoly on the gold trade if we didn't know how to mine the gold? And speaking of mining the gold, who do you think is mining the gold for these foreign multinational corporations? It's the local citizens in Mali themselves mining the goddamn gold at the gold site. Man, get this goofy out of here. That's why I don't go back and forth with our adversaries, man. I don't waste time debating our adversaries. I don't waste my time. That's beneath me. I'm not gonna waste my time battling with the fucking let me stop. Let me chill. But like I said, it was due to the fact that we had a monopoly over the gold mines. We had a monopoly over the gold supply and many other natural resources. That is what made us a target to all these foreign adversaries, to the Europeans and the Arabs that wanted to come and take over our trade routes. It was because we had a monopoly over all these vast natural resources for such a long amount of time. You see, the Arabs, they was in the Middle East living like barbarians, right? They were jealous of the black man. You see, the white man, he was in Europe living in the cold. He was jealous of the black man. We never been jealous of these folks. We didn't want to come where they was living at. There was nothing going on over there. They came to where we were. They came to where we was at because that's where it was popping at. And even still in the modern day, they still don't want to leave us alone, right? They want to come set up shop, set up military bases, set up gold mining companies, set up uranium companies, set up, coltan, cobalt companies. They refuse to leave us alone because they know the black man's land is where it's popping at. The black man's land is where the money at. They been knew that. That's why they refuse to leave, right? It's like the French. You tell the French it's time to go, they refuse to leave, right? You kick them out the front door, they come back through the window. It's crazy. Let's continue. This person said, Burkina Faso has already begun processing their own gold. Barrick Gold's empty threats will not bear fruit in Mali, but they will engender a righteous stock hit, justice being served on a cold platter. Now, exactly, this dude said you don't got the ability to extract the gold, but I just did a video last week where I showed you the bars of gold that were processed and refined on site in Burkina Faso, in-house, right? So what did these dudes talk about, man? Like I said, man, I don't go back and forth with our adversaries, man. That's beneath me. I don't go back and forth with those beneath me. Let's continue. This person said, go back to Europe and worry about the gold in your own ground. Oh, I forgot. Your land is barren. Beggars. Them boys some beggars, right? Gotta cross oceans, hop on a plane to come bother the black man. Gotta come beg the black man for his natural resources, man. Y'all some damn beggars. Y'all some panhandlers. Get out of my face. Let's continue. This person said, we need to beef up our armies to defend these economic gains. Absolutely. The more money you get, the more guns you gotta buy. Let's continue. This person said, good job. In their countries, they kick you out of the house for failure to pay just 1 month of rent despite good payment history. they take the car back for failing to pay a monthly payment. Exactly, right? Listen, if you forget to pay 1 month on your phone bill, they're going to cut off the phone. They're going to cut off the lights. They're going to come take the car back. They're going to come take the house back, right? But then they want to run off with $500 million, billions of dollars, and they think we're not supposed to go down to the mining site and confiscate all the goddamn gold? You crazy, boy. You crazy, boy. Like I said before, man, yesterday's price is not today's price. Let's continue. This person said, the audacity to mine gold in Africa, then refuse to pay taxes. Blame the former governments which allowed these thieves to thrive for so long. Exactly. Like I said, the so-called democratic regimes. The so-called democratic regimes is the reason why our enemies are so arrogant. It's the reason why our enemies don't believe in paying taxes. Now, in their countries, they pay their taxes. But they come to where we at, they don't want to pay no taxes. They want to run off not paying their taxes. You put out an arrest warrant, they don't want to show up. It's cool. We're going to come down to the mining site and take the gold back. Like I said, y'all got too comfortable. Y'all got too comfortable. It is what it is, though. You know, we're going to make you very uncomfortable. Let's continue. This person said, I support Mali's newly implemented gunpoint diplomacy. Time out, man. Like, listen, man. Trendsetter extraordinaire. Listen, gunpoint diplomacy, man. I coined the term. Neferkari Dessalines, you heard it here first. Gunpoint diplomacy. I've been seeing that term a lot these past couple of days, man. Gunpoint diplomacy. It's a beautiful term, right? It got a nice ring to it, right? Yeah, let's continue. This brother said, I support Mali's gunpoint diplomacy. The soft approach does not reap instant dividends. It does not serve our national interest. Many of the capitalist so-called direct foreign investors are the scums of the earth, and Barrick is at the top of the list. Shout out to that brother, for using my term gunpoint diplomacy. Yeah, let's continue. This person said, the Malian government has seized 3 tons of gold belonging to Canadian mining company Barrick in order to recover an estimated $180 million in revenue that the company owes the Malian state. The seized gold comes from a mine near Kays in the west of the country, a key gold mining region. The move follows a warning letter sent in early January by the Malian judicial authorities, signaling their intention to seize it. So they were warned beforehand. So yeah, it's not a surprise. In fact, Barrick was the one that made the announcement to the world and told everybody that, the military government, they're about to come down to the mining site, guns in hand, and confiscate everything we got. They let everybody know, right? You got to let the investors know and the shareholders know. So they're the ones that made the announcement. Like I said, them boys in the Sahel, they don't say nothing. They don't make any announcements, right? Assimi Goïta, he don't talk to the media. Them boys don't make any announcements to the media like that, right? It was Barrick Gold that put out the story. Assimi Goïta wouldn't have said anything. Assimi Goïta would have just took the gold and just kept it moving, right? Like a gangster. But Barrick Gold was the one that put out the story. Now, let's continue. However, what you need to know is that in December 2024, Mali issued an arrest warrant for Barrick's CEO on money laundering charges. The mining company, which is at the center of several disputes with Bamako, that's the capital of Mali, has offered to settle for $370 million to try to resolve the dispute. So basically, Barrick Gold still owes Mali some good money. I checked the price of 1 gram of gold on the market as I'm writing this, and it's $86.21. Therefore, the 3 tons of gold should be worth about $258,630,000. Even with that, there would still be more than $370,000 deficit for the Malian state that Barrick owes them. I saw the note of Barrick Gold that states the company continues to be barred from shipping gold from the mining complex in Mali. In addition, the precautionary seizure order against the gold stockpile has now been executed by the government of Mali, which has transferred the existing gold stockpile at the site to a custodian bank, Barrick said in a statement. As a result, Barrick has been forced to initiate a temporary suspension of operations while it continues to work towards a resolution. When I first read this, I asked myself, why do they expect Mali to allow them to export the gold when they are guilty of tax evasion? Mic drop. Mic drop. These people are full of themselves. It's good that we remind these predators that it's no longer business as usual. We now make the rules and we call the shots. It's the same exact approach that General Chiani took with Oreno. He withdrew the licenses, prohibited them from exporting the yellow cake, and ended up taking over all the uranium mines. Mali should seize the gold mine and sack them out the country. I said this before, we can mine our gold ourselves. The AES should make it illegal for foreigners, especially corporations, to own mines in our space. How can we give away our wealth like that? Last week when I listened to the speech that Assimi Goïta gave in Bombada, that's the local language in Mali, he said that people used to say that Africans can't jail the white man. Goïta said, Not here in Mali. With this man, if you fool yourself, you'll go to jail. Oh man, when I heard that, I laughed out loud like crazy. Go ask Terrence Holohan, the CEO of Resolute Mining. He threw him in jail until they paid the debt before he was released. I know the legacy media called it a ransom, but we knew they were guilty of tax evasion. Anyways, Goita is the man. He ain't playing. Respect General Goita. This is the AES way. One love. Now, shout out to that brother. Absolutely. I agree with every single word you said, my brother. And just from your analysis alone, I could tell you be watching the channel. Just like the other brother who mentioned gunpoint diplomacy, I can tell he be watching the channel. Shout out to both of y'all. Now, before we get out of here, this is off topic, but take a look up on the screen. 23 terrorists vanquished by the Mali armed forces, right? Army kills 23 terrorists in separate operations in Mali. The Malian armed forces killed terrorists in the southern central Mopti and northern Timbuktu regions over the past 2 days. Now, as you can see, not only are we marching on the multinational corporations, but we marching on the terrorists simultaneously. So yeah, man, shout out to my boys, man. Shout out to my boys. Anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari, the Saline back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we young. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city they loving me. Standing alone I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gated away. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drop a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we young. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.